bless his holy name. Bless the Lord, oh my soul. Forget not all his benefits. He forgives all your sin. He heals all your brokenness. He redeems your life from the pit. Crowns you with mercy, crowns you with love. Slow to anger, rich in love. His compassion rises like the sun from the heavens, high above. Great is his love for everyone. Bless the Lord, oh my soul. Every heart be given him praise. As far as the east from the west, he has carried my sins away. Bless the Lord, oh my soul. Let his mercy cover the night. From everlasting to everlasting, his kingdom rules in light. Justice for all who are oppressed. He made his ways known to Moses, his acts to the children of Israel. As a father has compassion on the children that he loves, so the Lord shows compassion to the ones who fear his name. He remembers we are dust. Our days are like the grass, but his mercy never fades. His faithfulness will last. Bless the Lord, oh my soul. Every heart be given him praise. As far as the east from the west, he has carried my sins away. Bless the Lord, oh my soul. Let his mercy cover the night. From everlasting to everlasting, his kingdom rules in light.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Purpose Driven Trader live stream. Glad that you're here. Well, welcome. How's everybody doing? Let me know in the chat. How you guys doing? Good morning to Ziana, Eric, D, Zach, Sully, Gabe. Gonna get my accounts set up here. Markets opening in 6 minutes. Doing great. Ready for it to cool down. Better than I deserve. And Michael, you should be receiving an email. If you don't receive that, you should have already received the email for access to everything. If you haven't, send me an email and I will get all that to you. We'll verify everything and then make sure you got everything. So, welcome, by the way. Glad you're here. All right, well, I think we're gonna do a small run of liquidity here, is my guess, right through these highs. Can I ask you, how do you go about mentorship? The mentorship is basically our academy, and the academy consists of the Discord. It consists of the Purpose Driven Trader Academy, and also consists of the 30-day roadmap and reports and stuff on the Trade Companion. So there's a lot of stuff that goes involved in it, and you have access to me through the Discord by asking questions, but I don't do any one-on-ones at the moment. Oops. I'm gonna let the market open. We'll open in prayer and then we'll take a look at the market. Pretty honestly, there's not much. We just have a 15-minute fair value gap here that will probably dip down into once the bell rings. So we'll mark that. Outside of that, it's just liquidity on the bottom and liquidity above. So one of them has to hit. There's the dip. Let's see if we find support here. Let's go ahead and open in prayer. Father, we thank you for today. Lord, I pray that you direct our steps. Lord, we honor you in everything that we say and do. Father, may your name be magnified in this live stream. May your name be exalted in everything we say and do, Lord. I thank you that you direct our steps and you lead us into paths of righteousness, Father. So we magnify you in Jesus' name. Amen. 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 Well, let's take a look at the market. Let's see what we got here. We have the 15-minute here, nothing else lower. Let's see if we have a 5-minute lower. There's a 5-minute down here, but this is a nice little breaker right here. The price should find support at, is my guess. And we should see price move higher. We'll see if it wants to do that or not. From there, we have the 5-minute fair value gaps. And the 15-minute, we'll see. But if we go up to the daily, we can see the daily. We have wicks up here. Wicks up here. Previous day high has not been tagged yet. Previous day midpoint has. The 4-hour has swept London low. And we have a lot of low resistance liquidity right here. This is kind of what I'm seeing as far as where price might want to go. But we got to see if it wants to go there or not. The hourly is swept down here, closed back up in the range, and we have 30 minutes left before we figure out where it wants to go. I would like to see a continuation to the upside, running this low resistance liquidity, and maybe even hitting up here at the previous day high, but we'll see if it wants to get there or not. And if we decide to drop, we have the data low down here with an hourly. We can use that as an area of interest. I'm not opposed to that. That could be a point of interest as well. Paulo, welcome. ES, is that previous day high on ES? It is. We've hit previous day high here on ES, and we're pumping higher there nicely. ES just ran its previous day high, and NQ has a bit of ways to go, but it just ran that low resistance liquidity as anticipated. 15-minute found support. It would have been really tough to be able to trade this because of the manipulation lower. 46 points, you've had to withhold and stand through that. Maybe you could have done it. It just depends. Now it seems to want to pump. We'll see. Not going to do anything here with any funded account. I am going to be trading again my Apex accounts here. We're going to do that. Nice little pump, huh? Nice little pump off the open. Here's where I think we're going. It's about time. Yeah, based on how aggressive we just ran that. I might try, if we can get a fair value gap tag, I might join in this. It's just too strong. It's just too strong right now for it for me not to consider that. It's running straight for it. Now, we might get one here on the previous day. High right here. I don't know why that was like that. Where do I want to put that? Let's go over here. All right, I'm going to break my rules. I'm going to do one micro trade here and see if this fair value gap here will hold and we continue to run towards these levels. What's up, Chris? Doing well. Yeah, I think we're gonna head for 30,074, 30,078. That's where I think we're going. So I got in on the first fair value gap tag, and I'll close that position if we close below that fair value gap. So stop basically is going to be about there. So 1R would be 50 points. So 76. And that's exactly where this is at. So this is a 1R trade from where my stop is at to where the target would be. 95 could also be one. There's liquidity there as well. So I'll accept the loss if it gives it to us. I don't know why you're seeing 190. I don't have any clear liquidity points at 190. Are we gonna give me another lower high? If it does that, that's annoying. It's been doing that lately. Give me these lower highs. And there we go, folks. We're gonna smash that. Target reached. And just like that, we are done for the day. Should we call it a day? Should we call it a day? I don't know. That was a 100-point trade, or 150 point trade, right? Went to 94. We got in at 25. So 75 point trade. There we go, Northern. I've always liked you, Northern. I'm done for the day. That's what I like to hear. But yeah, nice little trade there. I think it's probably going to keep going. It's probably going to keep going higher. Here's the thing. I'm only, if I had another contract, I'd consider holding. But see how flat this is right here? We got to make this jagged, so this will go up. You know, you could grade this wick on the daily. So maybe this level right here. Are they at 206? 206 we could reach up to. Yeah, I got in on the first initial dip. Unless maybe it wasn't a dip. Yeah, I took it including that volume imbalance. So I took it when it dipped into there. It is the slightest of volume imbalances, to be honest with you. Hey, that's all right. I mean, it was an easy win. It really was. It was an easy win. I'm getting more comfortable taking these pumps like this because they usually, when there's a clear target, I've gotten to the point where I'm just like, I'm gonna take it. So we have these straight large candles, right? Intentional. We have obvious liquidity. Obvious liquidity. So a dip down into the first fair value gap that it gives me, you got to take the long to try to hit it and accept the risk. I got the feeling this could be a trend day. Yesterday was CPI being all crappy. I think today is going to be that day where it runs. Your next entry is probably a 5-minute fair value gap tag. If you think it's gonna go long still. All right, so we got a new 5-minute fair value gap right here. Let's see if it wants to dip down into here. I would wait, unless you're trying to play a quick retracement, I would wait for it to hit the 5-minute fair value gap and see how it responds. And we might just be grinding higher and higher and higher here. That's a real possibility. We got 1 minute before 10 o'clock here. We'll see what 10 o'clock gives us. ES just hit all-time highs. Right here. Just sitting here waiting. There is nothing there. We're about at the 50% of that rejection block, of that wick on the daily wick right there, that red line. We're just about there. That level's sitting at 205 and we're at 186. First thing I'm looking at is this 1 minute inversion to the downside. If we get an inversion to the downside, that's the first clue that we're probably reaching for the 5 minute. Hey Natalie, how do I trade differently? It's really not necessarily about no news days compared to news days. It all depends on what I'm seeing on that day. So if I'm seeing consolidation like we did yesterday, I trade less. I sit more, I wait longer. If on news days, if things are clean, great, I'm just going to trade normally. If I'm seeing extreme candles, the best example would be when Trump made his announcement of the tariffs. We saw 100, 200 point candles. I mean, they were insanely large and the volatility was insane and it was almost impossible to trade. And I did not trade. Well, I probably took some trades, but it was very difficult. And I would sit out on those extreme volatility type situations because there's no need for that. I know what works. I know when my model presents itself. I know when there's a good move towards liquidity, and that's what I want to trade. I don't want to be blinded by fast moves of the market and think I have to trade it. You can't, and you shouldn't. You should find what works for you and stick with that plan, stick with that idea. Stick with that strategy and not let the candlesticks mess with your emotions. I'm currently I did a ton of research of studies going back to 2008. And these studies were on the effects of losing money and how to overcome this stuff. And it's extremely interesting. But a big part of this is how you lose your inability to make logical decisions when you're in the red, when you're losing money. And you want to avoid those at all costs. You want the boring environment. You want the familiar environment. So knowing how these markets move in different scenarios or different conditions, economic events, will help you feel more confident about if you should or shouldn't do something. Yesterday was a great example of not doing something. We waited and waited and waited and waited. And we finally felt like, well, I took 2 trades prior to that because I didn't know that we were going to hit the consolidation. I didn't know we were consolidating. But as soon as I recognized it, I took my hands off. Then we waited for 1 trade. And it took an hour and a half of waiting, and then I saw something that I liked, and I'm like, okay, this looks good. I'll take the risk on this. And it was the one move that started moving in the direction that I wanted to go. We took the trade, closed the trade, made 50, got a 50-point trade on it, and closed it, walked away green. That's great. You know how many people were red yesterday? You know how many people got chopped up yesterday? Because they did not wait. We're not patient. So that's kind of what you want to do on your end when you're trying to identify what is good conditions. You got to figure that out for yourself. You got to look at that and figure that out for yourself, okay? Take a look at yesterday's price action and make a mental note. That is not what good price action looks like, okay? Here. There's yesterday. There's CPI. This is not good price action. That is absolutely disgusting. And the trade we took, where did I take it? Right here. I went short right there. Went short right there and got this move lower. That's where I went short. Just this tiny little piece of price action. Yeah, that's all. And then it went choppy again. Okay? I mean, this is disgusting. This is what you need to note, what is absolutely horrible. Okay? It's not ideal conditions. This is ideal conditions. You see 1 candle, 2, 3, 4, and you're like, man, that just looks so good. And you're like itching to, like, I want to be participating in that. And you have a clear draw on liquidity. You wait for a fair value gap entry, and then it'll probably go to it. But do you see how we have not broken, or we've still respected this 1 minute fair value gap? So you can go long on these, just like we went long on this, right? At some point, one of those fails, and then it goes down to a higher time frame fair value gap. I have the 5 minute marked out here, okay? So it obviously went higher. So what I'm gonna go do is go back up to the 5 minute, and I'm gonna look if there's anything else. Well, there is a smaller 5 minute right here, okay? So we're gonna mark that one. And then I'm gonna go up one more and look at the 15 minute, and we now have a 15 minute fair value gap, okay? Well, it's not confirmed until another 3.5 minutes. But I'm gonna mark this anyway because I'm anticipating that's gonna form. So now I go back down to the 5 minute, I look at where that is at, and I see that it's right on the edge of our 1 minute inversion. This is something that you need to pay attention to. So if you were to try to take this inversion to the downside, there's a high probability it fails. That, guys, everyone, all 90, there's only 93 of you in here. All 93 of you should write this down. Write this down. What I'm about to share with you is going to change the way you look at the market, if you haven't learned this yet, okay? Why should you not take this inversion to the downside? I don't care if it sweeps liquidity. I don't care if it does anything like that. Why should you not consider this? Because that inversion is delivering into what? A higher time frame bullish fair value gap in the version of a 15-minute fair value gap. So when this does it, not only will it creates an inversion on the 1 minute, but it finds support in a 15-minute. Now, sure, there is a scenario where it might reach down to the target for this inversion because it's still inside this 5 minute. But you got to be paying very close attention, because if it really is an aggressive trend bullish market, it's not only going to inverse this, tag this, but it's going to explode the other way because it's intentionally moving that direction. That's what makes this a poor inversion fair value gap. Now, what's better? Well, up here, this inversion to the downside now looks really good. I'm not really. We would need to go up a time frame because there's 1, 2, 3 fair value gaps here. So 3 fair value gaps together. Let's bump up 1 time frame. There it is. We have a 2 minute. Now we have a 2 minute fair value gap that's going to form in the next 30 seconds. That 2 minute fair value gap looks immensely better than that 1 minute we were looking at over here on the 1 minute time frame. Why? Because it gives us room for us to reach to what? What is it going to reach towards? It's going to reach towards the imbalance. What is the imbalance? The 15-minute fair value gap. Okay, so that 15-minute fair value gap is forming in the next 1 minute candle. So this 15-minute gap that I have here is not official until the close of this next 1 minute candle sitting right here. When this candle closes, it's going to be solidified. And if we get the aggressive movement on a 2 minute, I'm not opposed to taking that because of obvious reasons. The 15-minute fair value gap that hasn't been tagged yet. This is how you identify draws. This is how you identify good and bad inversions, good and bad fair value gaps on what is it delivering to. Is there a higher time frame delivery point that's now going to go against what you thought and where you thought it was going to go? All right? So, with that being said, there you go. Okay? Dip Grace M. No, I got an editor. Thank you. They just gave me a video yesterday and it was clutch. If you can scan the chart at Publix and purchase your milk, it's not ideal conditions. Even if it works, it's high resistance and hard to hold psychologically, and a break-even point. Man, I'm just getting back into trading. Why is the market gotta be like this? Yeah, so at this point, I am okay with taking this inversion. If it delivers and we see displacement, I wouldn't mind taking it down to the 5-minute, which is where? Right here. Which is overlapping with what? The 15-minute. There's the 5-minute. There's the 15-minute. There's the 30-minute. Let's look at the hour. We've hit 50%. What we're going to also do is mark out these hourly highs. What time is that? 8 a.m., 9, 10. Okay, so that's going to be a 4-hour swing high right here. And we'll call that a 4-hour. Four-hour high. Just in case, if it does want to keep going, that's fine. And then we're going to call this a 1-hour swing high. And how far away are we from those? We're 100 points away from the hourly and 115 points away from the 4-hour. And nothing else to deliver in here. So it's being very intentional as of now to pump higher. We're going to get some form of pullback at some point. And you can use that to either go long or take a quick short. I'll be right back, folks. All right, we're back. Well, it looks like absolutely nothing's happened. Sorry, it took me a minute. Had to use the restroom. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. $10:30 here in 30 seconds. All right, we got a new 15-minute candle. That means, guess what we have? We have a new 15-minute fair value gap. So we're gonna mark this 15-minute fair value gap all the way up to the volume imbalance. And then we're gonna drop down to the 5-minute and see if there's anything there. Inside there, there's a redelivery to another 5-minute that we've already have. 5-minute right here. So that's already been redelivered. And we have a new 5-minute that will be forming here shortly. So let's go to the 1-minute. So what does this give us here? So now the same concept applies. We have a 1-minute inversion down to a 15-minute redelivery, with the risk to reward being a 0.5 reward. So if we were to go short here, your stop would be a close above that, and your target would be literally there. So it's a 0.5 return. So that's not attractive. We're not interested in that. So basically what we're getting at is there is not any short opportunities. There's only longs at this point. Everything that we've wanted to potentially retrace to a higher time frame fair value gap is not being delivered to. And we are now putting our eyes on these levels up here. Okay, marking this 5 minute up. That's what I'm doing, is just marking these as we continue higher to see where the groupings are, just so I understand what's going on with the market. We have 12 minutes left on this candle, but there could be a 15 minute that shows up here. 15 minute BISI. We're just gonna mark that, but just remember that this is not, it could produce a wick here and then dip down into here later, or down here. This 1 minute into this 5 minute is not unreasonable. I know what I'm looking for. I know what I'm doing here, guys. I'm identifying trades that go against the trend. Why am I not trading with the trend? For me, I already took the trade. I got the win. And for me, I feel like it's a little extended. Yeah, it could go all the way up here, but I don't want to take that shot. If it comes back down to the 5 minute, then I'd consider it. Sure, I could have considered it here. That dip into the 5 minute here, but I didn't. And by the time you get so close to here, that's when you really don't want to trade it, because this is where it's almost a guarantee that you get a pullback right before it hits a target. All right, probably a good chance we're going to redeliver to this one right here. All right, there's target number 1, and I'm probably going to sell most of it here. All right, I'm going to sell most of it there. I don't know if it's going to want to hold right here or not. I don't have enough support to determine what it wants to do. So see how it ate up this fair value gap? That 5-minute fair value gap? That gives me an opportunity to still take a trade down to this fair value gap here if it eats up the rest of this. So what do we got? We still have this right there, and that inversion right there will redeliver to this 5-minute. Okay, we have a lower time frame breaker. If we go down to the 30-second, you'll see that breaker. There's the redelivery of the breaker right there. I would not be taking that right now. We found support in the 1-minute. It just doesn't make sense to do that yet, and we haven't hit any clear point of liquidity. So that just doesn't make sense to do that. All I took was the trade down to the fair value gap that I felt it was going to deliver to. Why? Because we inversed, or we're playing. I don't know. I just had the feeling we were going to inverse this one. We didn't, but it was in the next candle that we delivered to here and then inversed it. So it didn't give a clear, easy entry. I just had the feeling, intuition, I guess, and I took that there. Okay, so that gave us a nice 20 points scalp in this push higher. So this still is not enough for me to want to go long. I need it to deliver to a higher time frame, 15-minute, 5-minute. 5-minute at a minimum. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm looking at for this delivering down to this area here. And it may not do that, and it may just pump and go higher, and I'm not going to participate in any of that. Yeah, so this is TradingView, and this screen over here, where you see the black screen where I took the executions, was trade of 8. All right, look at the delivery to that 1-minute. Okay, nice delivery, and we're moving lower. Okay, if we close below here, there's a good shot we're gonna deliver to this 5-minute here. But the problem is if you get a large candle here that closes below, I would have to wait for a retracement higher before I take this lower, because I'm not going to take a short on a 50-point candle. Oh, that's only 20 points. Okay, it's not terrible. But I'm looking for delivery here. We still don't have a 15-minute candle close. We have 3 more minutes left, and then it will give us that. if we get an inversion to the downside, we'd have to allow it to come back up to this fair value gap that I just marked. So if we close down here, we would have to allow it to come back up to here to then go short. If we deliver to here like we just did and then close here, I will take the short to there. Okay, so we hit here. Now if we close below this, I will take the entry. This one I am gonna wait. The 15-minute opportunity there is gone. Well, yeah, gone. We got 1 minute left before that closes. That's where I'm going to look. At the close of the next 1 minute candle, more than likely I'm looking to take that trade down into here. Okay. It's not going to do it until this next candle closes. So we need to have this candle close. Once this candle closes, then I see it running down into this level. I'm going to take the short here right now. Okay, there's the close. Let's see if we can deliver into there right now. Just shy of it. I don't like when it does the just shy thing. All right, let's get a push. Come on. All right, there it is. I just closed the position on the delivery to the 15-minute. Do you guys see the logic, all the logic we just used to take those trades? Okay, do you see how the logic works? When price is delivering correctly, it works, guys. It happens all the time like this. Okay, so now that we've hit this 15-minute, if we find support here, we can use this as a reason to go long to these higher time frame levels. Okay, sure, it could still reach down here. We'll mark those out. So what did I take? I took a, we got basically a 10-point trade. Something, it was really small. But the point is that you can scalp based on logic that you see in the market. Okay, I like this order block here. And a close below this will guarantee a delivery into this 15-minute here. Still another small scalp, but I would want to only take scalps when I have a higher time frame target like this and we've just been busting our butts higher. I would not want to try to hold for these longer moves to the downside. Probably going to have a 5-minute close here. Let's see how it delivers there. Nope, did not close that 5-minute. So what does this mean? I bet you that this 5 minutes going to find support. We're going to wick down into here, and then we're going to come back up into here. 5-minute found support. We wick down into here, maybe reach all the way to the 5-minute. It's going to be an aggressive candle to the downside. Aggressive candle to the downside, and then we're going to lose all of that ground. It's going to come right back up into this region. So something like this is what I anticipate. We'll see. I could be wrong, but this is just me kind of trying to read the market and putting a narrative into how I think price is going to deliver there. Okay, there's your close. It's delivering right to here, so it's too close for me to want to take a trade. It'd be better to take it off of this push higher right there. There's also a 1-minute fair value gap right there. That looks good too. Yeah, so the 5-minute found support here. It's going to be almost 11 o'clock. We're in the macro right now. I would love for it to deliver into here. It could leave this 15-minute. It could leave it. Let's look at the higher time frame here. I mean, it doesn't look unreasonable to try to deliver to it. We have such a big run higher. It makes sense for it to pull back a little bit. All right, so there's that fair value gap right there. I'm kind of curious to see if it wants to go short here. I'm going to take a single micro trade off of that and see if we can go lower here. If we close above this, I close that position. But I'm betting that we run lower right here to deliver into this 15-minute and maybe even reach into this 5-minute here. So I'm going to set the target at the 5-minute, which is 193. Sitting right around there. Just going to hold it here for a minute. See if we have the willingness to move down to that level. Stop for sure is going to be at the swing high if we get just a blow up candle, but I will close it manually before this, or if we close above that. So I'm risking 15 points against me. So that's basically $30 to make about $45. Again, just one micro. We're just trading one micro here. Copied across 6 accounts. All right, so 5 minute just closed. Let's see what the 5 minute looks like. All right, so there's a 5 minute fair value gap to the upside. We could do a little pop and reach up into. If it doesn't, great, but it's good to know that it's there. There's the push. Let's see if we can get a little bit more. Come on. We delivered to the 15 minute. That's good enough to call it a closed candle there. But I'm going to see if we can reach down into this 5 minute, because if you actually go to the 15 minute and the fair value gap for that wick for the 15 minute is actually way down here. So I'm seeing if we can just deliver to this to the 5 minute, and I'd be happy. At this point, I do not want it to come back up. I'm going to set my stop to break even and accept a break even loss. I want it to reach down aggressively into that 5 minute, and that's where I'm going to close. Come on. Let's do the reach into the 5, and we'll be happy. If it gives me a green candle here, I might just go ahead and close it. Because that next second candle following this is going to be probably pretty strong. Still holding, letting it here, just seeing if it wants to tap this fair value gap and then drop from here. If it doesn't, it will stop me out. But that's why I move stop to break even, to protect my current positions. Oh, this 5 minutes already been tagged. What am I doing? All right, I'm closing it. What's wrong with me? I'll close that. We already tagged that 5 minute. I don't even know what I was thinking, guys. I should have closed it on the 15 minute. We still came out with 10 points. Lame. Yeah, I'm not gonna try to make it go to the 5 minute again when it hasn't, when it already delivered to the 5 minute. So that's fine with me. I'm done. How do you trade? There's two ways to copy trade. You can use the Apex Trader. There's three ways. Apex Copy Trader. You could do Trade Sync, or you could use the group option under Trade of 8. I'm currently using the group option right now. The group option allows me to select different accounts. So let me see here. I'll show you. So I have like 10 funded account, 12 funded accounts on Apex right now. And I just passed some Apex the other day and I'm trading those right now. So you can see, where do I want to do that? Boom. Okay. All right, so there's the accounts right there. You can see the underneath the actual account number, it says second funded group. That's what I named it. And so all you got to do is click the drop down, go to manage groups, and you can see you can create your own groups for all of your Apex accounts, and then you group them into what accounts you want to trade. So I have two groups, the first group and the second group, and I trade them that way to go back in between accounts to manage risk, basically. So whether we're trying this out, it's definitely going to take more time, but I want to see how it affects my trading. So far, I like it. We did this yesterday. I traded one group, took a loss, was down $100, switched accounts, let that account sit, and in the other second funded group, we made $150. And then after the live stream, I saw another decent setup that I went back to the first account that I had the losses on, ended up trading that a second time, and was able to get those through break even to $150 in profit. Just make sure I'm keeping my emotions out of any of the positions. You know what's funny though? Take a look. What did we deliver to? We did deliver to that 5 minute and the midpoint of the 15-minute fair value gap. This is where I think we go long. This is where I think the long is going to happen. We're at least going to deliver to this 5 minute right there. Yes, take profit trader is my favorite. I traded those prior to us getting on the live stream. I took one trade. Actually, no, I didn't. I take that back, guys. I traded this right off the live. We are on stream, but it was my take profit trader accounts. I took a quick scalp once we tapped into this 15-minute fair value gap, and I just closed it right up here. Took a nice little profit, and then I closed it and switched to my funded accounts, and then my funded Apex accounts, I should say, and focusing on waiting for that setup. All right, here's the long. I'm pretty sure this is where we're going to go long. I'm not going to go long. I'm going to be done. I'm going to be done. Intentionally, as I mentioned earlier, July was not a profitable month for me. I was disappointed on my trading, how I handled my emotions. And so when I'm green, I'm cutting myself short. I'm taking my profits and I'm closing down my charts to reinstill the habits. And then as I reestablish that, then I'm going to increase my size again. Because I won't accept a July type month again. It was just horrible. I was so disappointed in my trading. So we're going, I mean, May and June, the two previous months were phenomenal. I mean, some of the best months I've ever had. And collectively between those 2 months, I only had 3 days of losses. I mean, it was phenomenal. And then in July, I think I had, out of 20 trading days, I think it was roughly 10 losing days. I mean, it was drastic difference. It was drastic difference. So we are making some slight changes where we are breaking up our accounts, because the biggest thing you fight with is, in my opinion, while you have your psychology, it's your physiology. Your physiology affects your psychology. How do you feel when you're taking the trade? How is your body being? What is the chemical reactions going on in your body? This is the video I'm doing it on. And you'd be surprised when your body gets into these zones, when cortisol is released into your system, all your logic goes out the window completely. So I'm excited about the delivery of these videos. It's going to be good. It's going to be great. Here, guys, I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to be done for today. Nice, beautiful setup here. Nice delivery to the 5-minute. This is definitely potential for a market maker sell model. It looks like I might be wrong for that delivery moving higher. I was anticipating we were going to close above this. If we did, I would be looking for a long. If you don't close above this 5-minute, I think we continue down at least to this 15-minute, right? That's how I'd be looking at that. But I'm going to be done today. We'll be back here tomorrow. Today's Thursday. I'm going to do an extended live stream for the community here in 30 minutes. We'll jump on there. So if you want to join there, join the Academy. Information's down in the description below, guys. But with that, guys, God bless. Stay safe, and we will see you all later. Bye-bye. All right, here we are. We are live streaming again. What's up, Jeff? Looking at seeing if price wants to deliver down to this 15-minute here. It hasn't been wanting to. It's been showing sticking around this 5-minute here. This would be a one-on-one of sorts. Sure. That's what I was looking for. Just price to come down to there. But price did deliver right there already. And still got 36 minutes left there. Yeah, I did mark it. There was a volume imbalance there. So we'll see if it wants to deliver to there or not. If we close above this 5-minute, I'm not opposed to trying to take this long here. It would be better for it to give me a close, fair value gap, 5-minute tag long. I wouldn't be opposed to that. It looks like ES is now going to deliver to there. just got to wait here. We're in this consolidation here. We're just doing this thing. ES is doing the moving. ES has now hit the 5 minute. It's hit this order block. From this point, ES could pump higher. We have the 5 minute order block. If ES pumps higher or finds support here at this order block, we could see higher prices there. There we go. We're probably gonna, I'm gonna try a quick short right from here using this breaker as my reason to go short here. We went up into this 5 minute, found respect, came down here in the process of swiping liquidity. We did run in, unfortunately. We did run it. I still think we'll get it though. Let's see. All right, so there's a target for the 15 minute. About to hit. Let's bring it down to this right there. That 1 minute fair value gap sitting right inside that consolidation. All right, there it is. Come on. If it comes back to break even, I close it. Okay, I closed one position there. And one left. Stop is in profit right below break even. I'm going to let it see if it wants to drop to the bigger one. If it drops aggressively, that's where I'll close it, is at 155. Sitting right here. But we're going to let it run and play out, see if it wants to go or not. If it doesn't, I've secured profit. And I'll walk away green. Looks like I'm going to get stopped down here. We'll see if it wants to go down. Yeah, the 15 minute, where is that 15 minute? 15 minutes there. We have that marked. Where's the hourly in relation to that? It is the same level. The hourly and the 15 minute is the same level. Honestly, I probably need to have a larger stop loss. But we'll see if it can go. Yeah, it's going to give us a retracement here. There's a good chance that's what's going to happen. What does ES look like? ES has already been in the hourly. There's a 15 minute down here. If we survive. We'll see if we can get it. We already took one TP at our target of the 15 minute. Let's see if we can get it to go lower here. Really needs to push lower. If we get a green candle here, it's going to stop us out. We got 8 seconds. Just give me a nice, beautiful, just aggressive push lower right here. Oh yeah, come on, close. Oh, that looks good, guys. That looks good. 5 minute, 15 minute, and hourly is overlapping at 155. Stops moving to the swing high. Oh, you guys can't see that. There it is. There we go. Let's get this. Just one last push into this 15-minute. Five-minute, 15-minute, and hourly all right here. There we go. Oh yeah, come on. Don't stop short on me. Okay, I'm going to intentionally not do anything. I have to learn to hold through these instead of closing short. This is such a large delivery zone that the probability of hitting it is just so high. All right, there it is. So TP taken. Nice little trade right there from 209 to 55. So that was a 50-point trade right there. Nice, nice, nice. What do you know? What do you know? What do you know? We'll put that in the chat. We need people to know that we took that, huh? What do we take that? We took that from the breaker? We took that from the breaker entry right there? Took a nice breaker to the downside, targeting the 15-minute, 5-minute, and hourly overlap fair value gap. 50-point win. Taken live on our private live stream. I need to be better at letting people know when we have wins, because I know that win rate is a big deal for people. So we're gonna try to just share that more and be more intentional about sharing wins, because I take a lot of wins that I just don't share. Probably because I'm lazy. Second, I just don't want to tout wins because I want to articulate the reality of trading. But I mean, I look at other live streamers that have less subscribers than me and have 4 times as many viewers on their channel, or 4 times as many people in their live streams. And I know it's partly because I don't share my wins. So we have to do better at that. All right, guys, I'm unless you have specific questions, I know some of you are at work and just kind of listening in. Unless some of you have specific questions, The only thing that I would say is I still would watch for those swing highs, those hourly, the hourly and 4-hour targets up here. I'd keep an eye out on those. But now that we've delivered to this 15-minute and hourly, I think we have some time to see what it's going to do and potentially move back up in the end of the day. But I'm happy for today. I'm going to call it a day. And we'll be back on the live stream tomorrow. This live stream was only about 20 minutes because we had a nice quick entry for a trade right there. So I'll give it a second, let you guys, if there's any questions you have, type it in. Or you can jump on the live stream and chat with me if you want to. Sure.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Cool. So I got my first eval passed in April, and I've just been taking it slow, and I was $200 away from the first payout, but now I'm about 400 from having it reaching the loss limit. So right now what I'm doing is I'm just paper trading basically 4 days out of the week, and I might take one regular trade. But I'm just looking for feedback on that plan to make certain that I'm not just avoiding ripping the band-aid off and just calling it a loss.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you just need the permission to decide. So here's how I'd approach it. Here's the thing that you have to avoid. You cannot trade scared. So every time you go to your funded account, you have to trade it not scared, regardless of how close it is to the max loss on the account. If you trade scared, you're not going to be able to improve on it. Okay? So what you need to do, and what I would be doing, and I've done this several times, where I would be 200, 400, 600, and those are all real numbers because I can visualize them in my head because I remember them. I have one account right now. I know I have right now that was $200 away from blowing on a funded account. You cannot trade scared. That's number one. But you can't be reckless. Okay? So if it's one trade a week, that's fine. But if you see a valid setup that you want to take, you take it with the proper risk. So if it's $400, you have at least 4 more trades. If you have a $100 stop loss. That for one micro, that's 50 points, right? That's a big stop loss.
Right. One thing I forgot to mention is that with the paper trading, I am keeping the exact same rules as I am during regular trading when I'm trading. So I'm doing everything identical. It's not like I'm going. So I'm still using it as an educational tool.
Yep.
But trying to extend the losses, assuming it ends up.
Right, but notice how you feel. The big thing that you need to recognize is how do you feel when you trade your paper account compared to when you trade the funded account? How do you feel? If you had to describe a difference. You there?
Yeah, because I literally just traded for the funded account, the one trade for this week, and mind you, I just started this week. So
You started the funded account this week.
No, I started this process because I was down to $400
Yeah, got it.
max losses. I ended up that week. I've had just it's just there have been like 6, 8, 10 losses in a row. So then I'll just take a break and go to paper trading just to see if there's something. Is there something? I'm trying to evaluate is it something. Am I reading it wrong? Am I not ready for prime time? So that's why I'm still treating it as an educational tool.
Yeah. Okay, so a couple things that I would recommend now that you are trading a fund account and you're trading your demo account to just make sure that you're doing it right. Number one, going back to how do you feel when you trade between the two? It's not a trick question. If you don't feel any different, that's a good thing. That's really what you want. If you're feeling the difference, then you need to recognize that and make a plan around it.
I think the only thing I might feel differently between the two is adjusting for like the stop loss, which I don't do often, but it just I might be more inclined to do it on the funded than just to protect the position.
Yeah. Okay. So recognize that. That's the biggest thing I'm saying right now in regards to your emotions. Recognize if you're trading differently. If you're not, then let's go to let's go to point number 2. If you're taking multiple losses in a row, here's what I would do. Okay. I am a verbal processor and I need an external source to help evaluate what I've been doing. Okay. So I would export all of my trades and I would put it into the trade companion. And I would say, evaluate my trades. Tell me what I'm missing. What am I doing? What are the faults? And you can even say all of these are a specific strategy. If they're all breakers, then tell them they're all breakers. Or if they're not all breakers, let them know they're not all breakers. But then put it in there and it will actually analyze it and tell you where you might be missing some insight. So I've done this before, right? Not just through there, but even in just Claude before I created the companion. And the biggest thing that I had to deal with was recognizing that all of my losses, major losses, began after I took 1 or 2 losses for the day. And it helped me recognize. I knew that, but it made it clear. Okay? Maybe it's one of those things. Maybe it's not. If it's not that, and it's a recognizing the market, then you're in the right process of setting that aside, going back and finding that consistency in the demo trading. Are you noticing a difference in the way you trade compared to demo compared to funded?
Not really. I mean, one other distinction between the demo is that I am more inclined to take multiple trades, whereas with the funded, if the first one's a loss, I am stopping and going right back to demo.
Okay. Do you find your first trade on demo is a loss?
See here.
The point I'm getting at is in your demo account, you're not trading afraid. When you take a loss, you accept the loss, and then you take another setup when you see the setup. And many times, at least for me, I'll take a loss or 2 before I actually get the nice big win. Losses are part of the game. And if you're only going to take the loss and not allow for a second opportunity, at least take 2 trades on your funded accounts or on the accounts that matter to you to give you an opportunity to earn back what you lost. So if you have a 1 to 2 risk to reward, here's the process. If you have a 1 to 2 risk to reward, I don't know, what is your risk to reward?
default it's 2-1, so it's two gain, one loss.
Perfect.
But I do adjust it accordingly based on where the target, and so it's,
So here's the scenario. If you take 2 trades and the first one's a loss and the second one's a win, you're up 1R. If you take 2 trades and you take a loss on both of those trades, you're only down 1R. So in this example, if we say 1R is 100 points, if you take your first loss, you're down $100. If you take your second one as a win, you're up $100 because you have a 1 to 2, so your target's $200. So you're up 100. If you take 2 losses in a row, you're down $200. So you would hit your max loss for whatever that day is. If you're doing it with $50, you do it with $50, and you could do the same process. But the point is, you have to identify if you're trading scared or not, and I can't tell you that. If you take that first loss and you're just protecting it, you might call it wisdom. Some people would say that's not wisdom, that's trading scared.
and that's fair. There is definitely a distinction there, and a lot of it is perspective.
So that's how I would do it. Here's the other thing. When you lose a funded account, it's going to hurt, but now you know what it feels like. And now you know how to handle through that moment again. I've been close to, I've had a funded account where I'd lose it and I'm down a few $100s. And then I wanted to do everything I could to try to recover it, but I traded scared and I ended up just blowing the account. And I accepted that reality that was the position I was in. I move on. I follow my rules and plans on the new account, and I improved from there. So what you could do, it's really up to you how you want to handle it. But if I'm trying to not trade scared, from my perspective, I would treat it like it's a brand new account and not worry that it's only $400 away. If it gets stopped out and you lose it, you lose it. But you have to treat it the same way as if it was a brand new funded account.
Okay, that's helpful.
Yeah? And learn and grow from the experience. Yeah, because based on what you're telling me, you're not over trading to a major degree, at least from what I'm understanding. You're trying to follow your process and your model. You're doing that even on demo. That's a big deal. Yeah, it's just the learning curve. And in the learning curve comes losses, comes unfortunate outcomes, but you grow from those. What account who is it with?
It's Apex.
Okay. Yeah, and it's really disappointing when you're only you said you were $200 to get in a payout?
Yep, I was $200 from the first payout. It's been pretty much downhill since. I've had a couple days where I got back up to almost break even on the account, and then it's, I don't know if it's something I just wasn't seeing it right. Happened to have
No, it's a physiological response and a psychological outcome. Here's something that I'd note with myself, and it's so hard to break this and change this. Okay, when you get into a losing streak, it's not just a losing streak. It affects everything about you. It affects your mindset. It affects your confidence. It affects your ability to recognize things because you're viewing it out of a lens of, I've had 8 losses in a row. Is this going to be a 9th? Is this going to be a 10th? Okay? What's crazy is this. I'm just telling you what I've experienced. All right, so if I have, let's say we're in your scenario, I'm $200 to getting a payout, and then I start losing. That cycle wouldn't break for me until I blew the account and opened a new one. Because this is in the past. Because when I got a new account, my mindset changed, and it was like as if I was starting fresh. I was able to wipe everything away, and I was able to start fresh and have that perspective of I don't have 10 accounts or 10 losses in a row hovering over me. Right? Does that make you see what I'm saying in regards to that?
I follow that.
Yeah. Where the growth happens as a trader is being able to do that reset with the losses. It's very difficult, but it can be done. And you know it's done when you are down $200 and you're able to work yourself back up. So I've done that multiple times. But it comes from a place of recognizing that you're seeing this cycle, maybe setting aside for a period of time, trading a different account, getting that mentality back that I know how to do this. And then when you do see that physiological change in your body and your mindset, then you go back to that account, and then we're trading it from that state. Unafraid. If it blows, it blows. It is what it is. I have to treat it the same as I would treat any other account. Because trading it scared or trading it extremely conservatively or just letting it sit there ain't helping the account.
I appreciate that. I do have a hard cutoff, so I actually have to get going. So
No problem.
see you tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Have a blessed day.
You too.
Unless any of you guys have any questions, we're gonna call it a day here. Question in the chat. For Chapter 10 Premium Discount, do you add a new chart for a new leg? For a new chart, do you mean a new Fibonacci level? So if this is the premium and discount, if we're looking at this price leg, you do it based on how you want the charts to look. So if I'm doing a gain box from this low to this high, right, here's premium and here's discount. I personally would use the Fibonacci tool so I don't have all of this, because that's just too much for me. It makes my charts messy. I would do a Fibonacci tool. So I'd keep this level here by changing it to the 50% level, or the Fibonacci tool here, just like that. So I would keep track of that level there. And then I would do the same thing again here. So now I have 50% on this price leg and 50% on this price leg. I'd be looking at it to come down to this area, which is still inside the 50% level. And once it comes down inside of all these levels, we got a 5 minute here. Looks nice. Tapped into that. We have 50% down here. We have the 50% also overlapping with all of these previous day highs, sitting those black lines. So I like all of these levels here, and I'd be watching to see how we interact with those. If we get a animated candle to the downside and aggressive price action back up, I would look for a 5 minute, 1 minute retracement and look to make sure that it gives me a failure swing and use that as a potential long to these targets. Or a potential long to the 50% of this delivery range. Because we know it has a higher probability of hitting this level than going all the way up here or up here. Does it make sense, Trey? Okay, cool. All right, we'll call it a day, man. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and have a blessed day. Take care.